What's up and welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. Since 1967, we have had one of the greatest automotive rivalries of all time, Mustang versus the Camaro. And unfortunately, that is about to end next year because GM is going to be canceling the Camaro in 2024. So because of that, I want to kind of honor the Camaro a little bit and go over 5 of the rarest Camaros ever made. Let's get right into it. At 69 cars, the 2012 Chevy Camaro Cobo drag car. So the Cobo Camaro program was always offered from Chevy as this factory drag car option, where you'd get something just viciously fast, but you couldn't really use it on the road. The 2012 car came with 3 options, one of them being a supercharged 5.3 liter V8, and the other 2 being variations of Chevy 427s, one of them being the LS7 and one of them being a carbureted big block V8. And on the drag racing front, these things did not disappoint. They ran a 8.8 second quarter mile at 143 miles per hour. Very impressive. At $100,000, it may have been tricky to really justify a drag car you can't drive on the road, but nonetheless, super cool, and the only modern Camaro on this list that has a generally rare number to it. Next up in 4th place, the 1967 Camaro.
If you get behind the wheel of an old Camaro, it's like a time machine. Feel the engine roar. Feel the freedom of...
So these cars were labeled as 1967 Camaro, but they were actually built and sold in 1966, being the first Camaros ever made. And since they were the first cars off the assembly line, they were essentially base models. They had a 3.7 liter straight 6 and a 3-speed manual to them. But at 49 cars, it's made it one of the rarest Camaros ever made. What makes it kind of neat is this Camaro from any other year would be passed off as a base model and not really worth that much. But because it was the first Camaros and it's a 1966 car technically, these things would be worth a pile of money. And it's cool there's only 49 of them. Next up, the 1969 Baldwin Motion Phase 3 Camaro. The production numbers are debated. It's said to either be 7 cars or 12 cars, but nonetheless, every single Baldwin Motion GM car is very rare and very fast. The Phase 3 Baldwin Motion Camaro had a 427, likely very similar to the ZL1 engine, but it made 500 horsepower back in 1969, and on the not very wide tires, it ran a 11-second quarter mile. That's very fast for today's standards, but do that on a car with likely 225 rear tires, and I'm being generous with that. Again, super impressive. It was probably smoking its tires all the way to the quarter mile marker before it actually hooked up. But for those who don't know, Baldwin Motion was a performance company that did a lot of work on GM cars, most notably the Camaro, the Chevelle, and the Corvette. These things go for a pile of money just due to there's so few of them. They're generally an extremely effective performance vehicle at that time. And fun fact, when GM started using the 2nd gen Camaro chassis, Baldwin Motion was actually dropping modified 454s into these things. Again, super cool car. In 2nd place at 3 cars ever made, the 1970 Chevy Camaro Z28 Hearst Sunshine Special Edition. Made as a special edition car from Hearst in 1970 to celebrate the Camaro's 2nd generation. So on this 1970 Camaro, they made it bright yellow to be the sunshine color, and gave what they called a experimental automatic sunroof, which we refer to now as a power sunroof. But that was actually very cool. There are so few cars back then that actually had these. I know Dodge was doing it on the Charger. I think they made like 600 Chargers and sunroofs, but on this car, they just didn't do that. This car would have been super unique, but it's not just it had the bright colors and the chin spoiler and the bigger rear wing and the split front bumper, but also the sunroof. And being Z28 was pretty performance oriented, so very cool car. And in 1st place at 1 car, the 1968 Chevy Camaro Z28 convertible. This car was custom built for GM's manager back in 1968, and it was very special because back then Z28s did not come with any sort of convertible option. So to make this thing really cool and really special, it had the convertible option, but it also had the Cross Ram Chevy 302, the 302 that they only used for like 2 years for Trans Am racing. Absolutely unique. We never got anything like this from Ford or Dodge. There's like no Boss 302 convertible or Challenger TA convertible. So this is actually a really cool car. This car was sold once back in 1991 for $170,000. And I guarantee you if this thing ever pops up like Barrett Jackson, this is going to be a $3 or $4 million car. So that's 5 of the rarest Camaros ever made. But well, no, what do you think? Is there any I missed? And what is your favorite one on the list? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I post on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I'll see you later.